Matt Gaetz drops a bombshell of an allegation against the nation of Israel, and it's pretty intense, guys. Plus, the oil war, which is about to kick off in Venezuela, may not actually be all about oil. This all may be some smoke and mirrors because there is another angle to it. We'll get to that here in a minute, but I want to start off with this Matt Gaetz allegation because he's on Tucker Carlson's podcast and he's talking about the allegations against him of sexual relations with an underage minor and how it was all actually a foreign nation behind all of this. If what he is saying is true, this is bombshell, guys. This changes a lot of things.
Right? It is just an op. And it was an op to silence me. And Israel was involved. And I hate to say that. I was shocked to learn it. But there was a consulate official.
Okay, this is amazing. So this is the charge that you were like trafficking underage girls.
Absurd. And
I don't even know what the charge was, but that was the headline. Matt Gaetz traffics underage women. It's like, oh my gosh, can't talk to Matt Gaetz anymore.
Well, for us, the shocking moment was when my father, who's a prominent person in our community, got outreach from someone he had never met that said that there were pictures and images of me with underage prostitutes, and my dad needed to meet with these people right away. And so my dad, somewhat surprised and concerned, goes and talks to these people and says, "What in the world are you talking about?" And they said, "Well, Mr. Gaetz, we need $25 million from you to go and rescue a spy that is being held in Iran. And if you do that, we can make these things about your son go away."
Okay, so a couple of things here. It seems like to me that he may actually have slept with some underage prostitutes, but this is also how these spy agencies work. Mossad, MI5, CIA, the secret agency for Russia, they set up politicians with these honeypots and prostitutes and underage girls, and then they're like, "We got you. We own you. Because if you don't do what we say, we're going to expose you for child molestation. You're going to go to prison. Your career's over, everything." So the fact that they went to his father, I don't think Mossad is going to go to his dad and say, "You need to cough up $25 million to get one of our Israeli spies out of Iran," if they didn't actually have the evidence against Matt Gaetz. So Matt Gaetz is denying that he ever did anything wrong. But then he's saying Mossad tried to blackmail him with some pictures, or blackmail his dad with some pictures and video that he's saying doesn't exist. Then, like, why would they even do that? So I think he's telling the truth about Israel. I think he's lying about sleeping with underage girls. I think he may have really done it now that I hear this part of it, because I've seen this video before. I didn't really catch that until just now.
Away. Which was crazy and wild. We did what any reasonable people would do. We went to the FBI and said that we were being extorted by these folks with their false claims. And
now, if that's also true, there should be an FBI report. And I would like to see Matt Gaetz actually publish that, because he should be able to get that if it's about him. He should be able to get the fact that he filed a report with the FBI for extortion. Publish that, Matt. Publish that. Let us see that.
And we later learned that this consulate official working for the Israeli government was sending text messages to Scott Adams, of all people, the Dilbert cartoonist, saying they were expecting my father to furnish this $25 million payment, and that would be evidence of my consciousness of guilt.
For the American FBI agent grabbed on an Iranian island maybe 18 or 19 years ago.
And I don't know anything about this person. I don't know if the person's dead or alive, but it was troubling and concerning to me that someone who was getting paid by the Israeli government was involved in a criminal shakedown of a U.S. congressman.
Yeah, so I mean, pretty explosive allegations there from him that Israel's up to some shenanigans when it is in regards to our Congress, our president, governors, state legislatures. I mean, even school boards, especially in California, they're really all over the place. Florida, they're all over it. So that's pretty concerning because, Imagine if that was China doing that. Imagine it if it was Russia doing that, or even if it was England doing that, or Canada doing that, or Venezuela doing that. We'd have already nuked them, right? So the fact that you have this foreign country doing this and there's little to no reprisal, no consequences, is pretty concerning, because how do we keep our democracy if we have a foreign country basically ruling over and blackmailing our government as it is? So I want to get into another thing here, because this does involve a common actor here. So we all know that the United States has seized two, and now I believe three Venezuelan oil tankers, nearly $2 million worth of oil. And President Trump has gone and said this.
Speaking of Venezuela, oil, what are we going to do with the oil that we have?
Going to do with what?
The oil that has been seized. The United States seized 1.9 million barrels of oil on December 10th.
We're going to keep it. We're keeping it.
Where's it? Are we going to sell it or put it in the strategic?
Maybe we'll sell it. Maybe we'll keep it. Maybe we'll use it in the strategic reserves. We're keeping it. We're keeping the ships also. Yep.
So, I would just beg to guess, like when he says we're keeping it, he's not talking about the United States keeping that oil in that tanker. You're talking about the Trump family's keeping it. This dude is literally running our government like a dictator, straight up, like he's a king. Like, oh yeah, we seized it. It's the king's treasury now. It's mine. I do whatever I want with it. Let me just break down real quickly that seizing an oil tanker in international waters or in territorial waters of a foreign nation is illegal under international law. The United States can claim that they had a federal judge say that this tanker is illegal all they want, but a foreign country doesn't answer to a federal judge of the United States. And it is well recognized law of the sea internationally that merchant ships, including oil tankers, are off limits for military. If you're at war, then that's different. But we haven't actually declared war, especially through Congress, to be doing any type of a blockade. That is considered high seas piracy. And that's essentially what the United States has done. And nobody's really saying anything about this other than the victims of this and the maybe intentional or unintentional consequences of this policy is that you have massive blackouts in Cuba right now, because that's where the oil was going. They rely on 25,000 barrels of oil a day to keep their economy, their lights on, everything in Cuba from Venezuela daily. And seizing these tankers that were going to top up Cuba so they can keep the power on, so they can keep growing food, medicines, hospitals, all that. So now we're attacking Cuba, and Cuba is not involved in the drug trade whatsoever. And this was oil that they had paid for. So they owe the United States now owes Cuba this oil back and reparations for damaging their country. But listen, it gets more nefarious than that. And there is a guy that I highly respect. I love his work. In fact, he just got kicked off of a major network that is now building up. I believe Breaking Points is the name of it. They got rid of him because he was going too hard in the paint. But I love him, so I'm going to show it here.
Absolutely not. If you're an American...
President Trump promised to get America, as you know, out of foreign wars, not start new ones. Would he be going against that promise if he did, in fact, go to war with Venezuela?
Absolutely not. If you're an American and you want Maduro to stay in power, man, have you lost your way.
So before 5149, James Lee here gets into his very in-depth breakdown of this, I do just want to point out that Senator Lindsey Slytherin Graham there is in Tel Aviv, Israel, not the United States. He's giving a press conference from Israel. Why is he even there? Why is he there? That is the question to be asked.
Ask yourself, why are we about to go to war with Venezuela? You might think it's because of oil, which is always a factor, but in this case, I don't think it's the main driver, despite what the mainstream media is trying to tell us. The real reason, I think, is because a certain other foreign country told us to, allegedly. This is reporting from the most popular newspaper in Israel. They say, quote, since Hugo Chavez's rise to power, Venezuela has become one of the most hostile countries to Israel and Zionism in Latin America. His successor continued the anti-Israel line with even more intensity. Thus, Venezuela, which previously maintained warm relations with Israel and even purchased security technologies from it, became a center of hostile propaganda towards Zionism and the Jewish state. Yep, they want to get rid of Maduro to install this lady named Maria Corina Machado.
Remember, she's the lady that just won the Nobel Peace Prize for Democracy, who then the next day dedicated it to Donald Trump because Donald Trump has promised to install her when they overthrow the Venezuelan government.
Machado. She was asked, will you restore diplomatic relations with Israel and establish Venezuela's embassy location in Jerusalem as President Donald Trump did? And she replied, quote, yes, certainly. Venezuela will be Israel's closest ally in Latin America. We rely on Israel's support in dismantling Maduro's crime regime and in the transition to democracy. Together, we will lead a global struggle against crime and terror. The Venezuelan people deeply admire Israel and will always defend its right.
No, the Venezuelan people do not deeply admire Israel. They despise Israel. They have the internet over there too. They've seen what has happened in Gaza. And this lady has no popular support in Israel or in Venezuela at all. She will 100% be a puppet president.
To live in peace without threat to its existence. Also, another tell, if you didn't notice, is that Lindsey Graham, the senator of South Carolina, is literally in Tel Aviv receiving these marching orders.
So there you have it, guys. It's pretty crazy how Israel just keeps popping up on every single major story headline of everything that seems to be happening in our country and in the world. Now, I'm not one of those guys that's going to sit here and say that Israel is behind everything. That would be impossible. They don't simply have enough population in the world to be behind everything. But the major things, the major glaciers that are tearing a path down a hill and destroying everything in its wake, Israel seems to have its hands in it. That's just an honest observation. I'm not anti-Semitic or anything like that. Like I've said 1,000 times, how can I be anti-Semitic when I have a lot of Arab friends, the true Semites? Drop a comment down below and let me know, do you think Venezuela is going to be all about oil, or do you think it's about protecting Israel?